don't be afraid of it leading to a fight. Because honestly, sometimes the times that we've made the most progress is when it started in a fight. Today we're talking reasons why people stay in debt. And this is a tough topic. It's a topic that a lot of people don't want to talk about, but it's important. And it's important to know these things so that you can be self-aware and you can be like, oh crap, I'm doing that. We're going to stop doing that so that we can help break this debt cycle and get out of debt. I am a huge proponent of getting out of debt, get that debt out of your life so that you can build wealth, so that you can give more, so that you can invest more and really enjoy your income and not have that weight of your shoulders on top of you. I am debt free. I've paid off all of my student loan debt, credit card debt, all of that. The only debt that I have is our mortgage, and we're currently saving for our rental property. So we have some really big money goals that I love sharing with you guys on this channel. So if you're new, definitely subscribe to the channel and join the freedom. So number one is they're not willing to give things up. They're not willing to make sacrifices. And sometimes you need to make some sacrifices, especially in the beginning, especially if you are in the grind to pay off debt and you want to get it gone as fast as possible. And that's debt as in credit cards, student loans, car loans, personal loans, payday loans, any of those types of debt. I'm not necessarily talking about your mortgage. If you do want to aggressively pay off your mortgage, that's fine. We personally are taking more of a slower approach in investing more in building up our rental properties and our investment property portfolio versus paying off our mortgage aggressively. At least right now, that's our current plan. But really making sacrifices and really cutting back, that can make such a huge difference of how much debt you can pay off each month. And when you're like, okay, I can put $100 a month, what can I do? And really taking a look at your purchases, really take a look at your spending and be like, you know what? We can sacrifice a little bit. We can cut this cable. We can cut the cable. We can cut this eating out. We can cut this expense or whatever it may be. And those little sacrifices, those $20, $30, $50 sacrifices are going to add up big and make a huge difference in how fast you can pay off your debt. Number two is you're not on a budget and you're not tracking your spending. A lot of people think that just being on a budget is just paying all your bills on time. No, that is not being on a budget and tracking your spending. Honestly, tracking your spending and finalizing your budget at the end of the month are the two biggest things of what's going to help you reach your goals faster. Honestly, it's not just being on a budget and just making a budget. So tracking all of your purchases. I have a spreadsheet that I keep down below in the description box for you guys. It's the same spreadsheet that I've used for years now, the one that I used to pay off all my debt, cash flow, my wedding, dream car, house, all of that stuff. So it's linked down below in the description box for you guys if you want to get it for yourself. And tracking every single purchase. What I'm doing is I'm in my budget every 2 to 5 days, and I will go through, I'll take 5-10 minutes. It's super fast if you're in it every couple days. What I'll do is I'll just log in and track all of our purchases. I'll put them in the different categories, whether it be groceries, eating out, miscellaneous, spending money, whatever it may be. And I just log all the purchases, and that does a couple of things. It helps me be aware of where we're spending our money and where we can cut back. It also is like, okay, we're going a little over budget on groceries. We need to cut this back a little bit. We're going a little high on eating out. We need to cut back here. Or, hey, we're doing really good. We're keeping our spending on track, and that's going to help motivate me to keep me going for the rest of the month so that we can hit that goal and really make the big debt payoff or whatever payoff you want to do. And then finalizing your budget at the end of the month. So just tracking your spending is not enough. You need to finalize it at the end of the month, and then any leftover money, whether it be $50, $200, $1,000, whatever it may be, that needs to go towards your goal. So you need to make a payment, a transfer, whatever it may be at the end of the month so that your budget is now at zero, because you want to end of the month at zero and start fresh next month. You don't want to roll over any money, but really finalize that budget, transfer any leftover money that you have to whatever goal you're working on, make that big debt payment or whatever it may be, get that debt out of there so that you can go and progress even faster. Number three is you've lost your why, and this is a huge one. Having that strong why. Why am I doing this? Just saying, my why is because I want to pay off debt, or my why is because I want to be debt free. That's not enough. What is your why? Is your why for your family because you want to be a stay-at-home mom? Is your why because you want to be a homeowner and you want to have a home that you can call your own? Is it because you want to start investing and really building wealth? Is it because you want to quit your job and travel? Is it because you want to just travel more with that money? Or is it because you want to give? Do you want to be a missionary? Do you want to do really fun things with your money? What is your why? You need to have your why very, very defined so that when you're in that struggle, when you're in that pit and you're not feeling it and you're wanting to eat out or you're wanting to do whatever it may be, you can look at your why, you can think about your why, and that motivates you. If your why doesn't pump you up, if your why doesn't make you tear up a little bit when you think about it, it's not big enough. Your why needs to be so big that you just get so pumped that you start tearing up being like, yeah, those kids are awesome. I made those kids, and I'm going to do everything that I can to fight for those kids so that they don't have the same life that I had, or so that they always have abundance of food on the table, so that they never have to go hungry, so they can have the education that I never had, so that they can live their dream and do whatever they want in this world. I'm going to help them do that. Is that your why? You need to have that so defined. Write it out. Have a vision board. Do what you need to do so that you can go out and use that to motivate you. Having a why is so important, and a lot of people will lose track of that or just have I just want to be debt free because it sounds good. And it's the trend. Everyone's debt free now. No, it's not big enough. If this video was helpful, I'd love you to like it, and don't forget to subscribe and join the Freedom in a Budget family. Next is you're not on the same page as your spouse, and this is a huge one, and this can align with your why. I know so many people that the husband and wife's why is different. Have a why. If you're doing this with your spouse, make sure it's the same, or at least have separate ones, but one similar one that you can come together, and when they're struggling, you can say, hey babe, we're doing it because of this. We're doing it for the kids. We're doing it so that we can get out of this crappy apartment and we can buy a house. We're doing it so we can get out of this bad neighborhood and buy in a good neighborhood so that we can get our kids in that good school system. That's why we're doing this sacrifice, so that when your spouse wants to go and spend money on X, Y, or Z, or buy new Xbox games or eat out or whatever it may be, you can say, hey babe, remember your why? Remember our why? This is why we're doing it. And have your spouse build you up. Have your spouse help bring you up on the same page. And sometimes there's days when I'm down and I'm not feeling up and Jamie brings me up. And there's days when Jamie's not feeling up and I bring him up. You're not going to be in it every day. That's what a partnership is so awesome, that you can bring each other up. Now, if your spouse is not on the same page, that can be tricky. That can be really, really tough. When we started, Jamie and I, we were very different places with money, and I was die-hard save because I wanted the house. Jamie was a little bit more relaxed and wanted to enjoy his money, so that had some conflict in the beginning of our marriage, and we had to learn how to talk through those things. And yes, I will always be the nerd, I will always be the saver, and I will always be that one in our relationship, and he's always going to be more of the free spirit. But we've learned how to compromise. We've learned how to communicate with money, and that is huge. And that took a lot of fights. That took a lot of talking it out and a lot of seeing the other side and be like, oh, yeah, I can see where that can be an issue. For instance, giving you a real life example, eating out. Eating out has been so hard for us in our marriage because I grew up as eating out was a treat. He grew up as eating out was just normal life. And it's just normal, and he doesn't really enjoy eating out at home as much. And I love eating out, but I also see the long-term sacrifice. I'm like, dang, I could make this meal for a tenth of the cost, literally a tenth of the cost of what they're charging at the restaurant. Yes, it's delicious. Yes, I like the atmosphere and going out, but long-term, it's just one meal. I can save so much money by making it at home. So that's a thought process that I have. He's more of an experienced type of person. So that's just something that we have to communicate. And he has learned to sacrifice a little bit, and I've learned to give him a little bit more grace. So just learning how to communicate in your marriage and learn what those triggers are. Talk back. How was money handled in their house? How was money handled in your house? Talk about it. Be open with it. Have those raw conversations, and don't be afraid of it leading to a fight. Because honestly, sometimes the times that we've made the most progress is when it started in a fight. And then it was able to end in really good progress, a really good wow, this is a great solution. A lot of times I was too afraid to bring it up because I didn't want to cause a fight, and I didn't want him to be like, oh, I don't want to bring it up because I don't want to get Kelly upset. I don't want Kelly to cry because Kelly always cries when we fight. And honestly, then when I started being like, no, let's talk about it. This is important. Even if it does cause a fight, even if I cry, even if he cries, whatever it may be, the progress that it's going to bring, the conversation that's going to come out of it is going to be so worth it. So that was a long rant on marriage and got real personal. So I hope you enjoyed that. But it's really important to be on the same page as your spouse and working towards it and having that open communication. The next myth is that a lot of people believe that they don't make enough money and they use that as an excuse. And yes, things may be easier when you make a lot of money, but I'll be honest, when we started budgeting versus where we are now, our income has grown over $100,000. And a lot of times it was easier back then because you were in that mindset of, I don't make a lot of money. I need to be frugal. I need to save money. I need to do whatever I can to make my money valuable and treasure it. Not treasure it, that's a bad word, but make it work for you. And then when you make a lot of money, you're like, I need to live up with the Joneses. I need to have this fancy car. I need to go to these fancy restaurants and social media and coworkers and all of that. And your coworkers going out to eat lunch every day. Well, why aren't you coming? Why don't you come? We make all this money. Why don't you come? And that really plays a big part of it. But honestly, guys, it's more about behavior than income. Think about what would happen if you made, let's see, $70,000, but you're spending all of it versus someone that makes $40,000 and they're able to cut their expenses, they're able to save, invest, pay off debt. They're going to be a lot farther along than the person making a lot higher income. It's all about behavior. It's all about what you can do. And honestly, if you need to, get some side hustles. You can increase your income. You're not capped at your day job. What else can you do to increase your income? I have a whole playlist on side hustle ideas, side hustles during the pandemic, side hustles from home. I'll have that link down below for you guys. But check that out and really don't use that as an excuse of, I don't make enough money. I can't pay off debt. No, it's not an excuse. So don't let it be. And if you want to know the importance of multiple streams of income, how to build up your streams of income, check out this video here. And if you want some side hustle tips that you can do from home, check out this video here. No.